Welcome to My The Asshole Podcast. Let's get into it. All right, welcome to My The Asshole Podcast. My goodness, it is another beautiful Thursday episode, and we have a good episode for you guys. Got a very interesting thread. We're going to be getting into our, book Hooked. We're going to be doing chapters 18, 19, and 20. So I'm excited for that. The book has been getting really good. Hope you guys have been enjoying the book and all the content we've been having so far. Very excited, man, for where this book is going, if I'm being honest with you. I'm excited to see where this book is going, where our characters are going to be at the end of this book, if I'm being honest with you. It is a very interesting book, and I am excited to get into it, man, as much as you guys are. But you know what we do? We have our thread. And so this thread was pretty interesting. It is, what was the one sign you didn't catch while being cheated on? Ooh, this one is going to be a little, it's going to be a little spicy. So let's see what we got going on here. All right, so what was the one sign you didn't catch while being cheated on? At the time, best friends seemed to go from super awkward and quiet to extremely cocky and specifically belligerent towards me. My partner at the time was spending a lot of time with him. We were part of the same larger Fern group. I guess he meant firm group. So it never really seemed weird at the time, and it just never added up in my head. I ended up being the one that got shunned out of the larger group despite being the victim. That's crazy. That's crazy. See, I don't understand how you could have a friend, right? And then you want to sleep with your friend's significant other. I don't get that. I will never understand that. Ever. I will never understand that. I'm like, bro, that to me, bro, that's not your friend. That is not your friend at all. That is crazy. It seems like this is a very common thing, which I find to be so weird, because for me, I would never do that. I know my friends would never do that. It's wild to me that dudes will be friends with a guy and then be like, yo, his girl is fine as hell. And then on top of it, the girl is into it. That's the crazier part. I mean, I guess for the girl, she kind of looks at it like, oh, I'm dating the uglier friend. I don't know, but I don't understand that. I really don't, because I've never once looked at my homie's girl and been like, oh man, she's hot. I would so want to be with her, if it wasn't for my homie or something. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that's insane, if I'm being straight with you. Man. All right. What was the one sign you didn't catch while being cheated on? I had an instinct something was off. Nothing tangible. I remember he came back from working abroad for a week, and I said to him, you seem different somehow. Well, he'd been in a hotel shagging some woman. There were no visible signs, just something off. Man. And I guarantee you that something off was probably he wasn't really involved with you as much. It seems like a lot of times when dudes are cheating, a lot of times they are just not really as involved, in their girl's life, because they're so busy thinking about either the other chick, or they're thinking about what just happened. Because I guarantee you, for him, in his head, he was just playing movies back into his head, like, damn, oh man, me and that girl did this, me and that girl did that, and that's what I've kind of gathered as the consensus when it comes to just that something is off feeling. And honestly, this goes both ways. You know what I mean? Even with a girl, it's more of she's constantly thinking about the other guy more than she's thinking about you. And so, she's kind of just not really dismissive, but just not there. She's just not present in what's going on. Like I said, that's kind of how that goes. Woo, that's gotta suck, dude. Oh. All right, what is the one sign that you didn't notice when you were being cheated on? I told him I was itchy after sex and he got nervous and defensive. Okay. Well, yeah, my mans was messing with the street hose. I mean, that's really what he was doing. He was messing with the street hose. Like, damn. Oh, wow. Wow. Woo. Damn. All right. What is one sign you didn't catch when you were being cheated on? Never a story about her job that didn't include this motherfucker. God damn. Yeah, and it's crazy because I don't even want to say women, but most of the time it is women, because guys don't really do this. Guys don't necessarily like break up with somebody in their head before they actually break up with the person. Women tend to do this a lot more. I'm sure there are cases where guys do it, but women tend to do this more. And I guarantee you, for her, she looked at it like, I've been broke up with this dude in my head. He's kind of like a roommate at this point. So yeah, I have no remorse talking about this guy. And then I'm sure on top of that, she was probably in the camp of like, oh, I want him to break up with me instead of me breaking up with him, which I think is really stupid. But, I guarantee that was kind of the thought process in her head, if I'm being honest with you. But hey, it is what it is. But I guarantee that's the mindset that she was in. She was like, I've been broke up with you months ago. You know what I mean? I'm with this dude now, technically. You're just kind of a roommate to me. Damn. That's all bad. What was one sign that you didn't catch while you're being cheated on? When we hadn't used condoms in years, and one night before sex, she said, "Don't forget the condom." Yeah, man. Yeah. That's because another dude was hitting it raw. That's what it was. She was like, my actual man was hitting her. I'm surprised that she even still wanted to have sex with you, though. You know what I mean? Like, usually if a girl is having sex with another dude and she's not wanting to, she wouldn't want to. But, I mean, I guess she was trying to keep up appearances, maybe. I don't know, because sometimes, like, what I've noticed is when people go out and cheat, not just guys or girls, but when people go out and cheat, they tend to kind of want to keep the partner around because things over here are not like solidified yet. Like, yeah, they're seeing each other, going on dates and possibly having sex with each other, but they're not like official boyfriend girlfriend type shit. So it's kind of like a situationship. And so they're like, I don't want to get rid of my relationship just to be in a situationship, because what if this don't work out and then I'm by myself? So if this don't work out, then I could just be in my relationship. And I think that's kind of what she was doing. And my homie found out. Oh, that's all bad. Yeah, man. Woo, that's tough. That's some tough shit right there. All right, what was one sign that you did not catch while you were being cheated on? If I'm being honest with myself, I caught all the red flags. I just ignored them. Ooh, brother. Yeah. This is me before. This has been me before. I won't lie to you. Oh, man, I won't lie to you. This has been me before, because you want to believe so bad that your partner would never do this. You're like, nah, man, they would never. They would never. Like, that, not my partner. It's one of those things where, like bad things happen to people, and then you kind of say to yourself, like, oh, man, that bad thing would never happen to me, and then it happens to you, and you're just like, oh, yeah, bro. I've been there, man. Woo! That's probably the toughest thing to like be in. How do I say it? I don't want to say be comfortable with, but like come to terms with, I guess. It's the hardest thing to come to terms with, because again, you're like, that wouldn't happen to me. Not me. Yeah. Oh, tough one, dude. All right, what was the one sign you didn't catch while being cheated on? He got so happy when he talked about her. Oh. I had a sinking feeling, but I brushed it off as I was being paranoid. Should have trusted my gut. Damn, girl. Damn. Yeah. And some people are just so bold. That's crazy. Like, we've already gotten 3 people so far being like, oh yeah, they were just openly talking about him. You know what I mean? And this was what, like I said, one of the rare instances where it's a dude who kind of broke up with his girl a long time ago in his head. And it was like, he kind of looked at her, was like, this is just my roommate, that's the woman I love, you know what I mean? And that's why, when I was saying that, I'm like, majority of the time it's girls who do that. But yes, there are times that dudes do it. And this is one of those times, man. Definitely one of those times. God, that's crazy. Like, there's no way I could break up with somebody in my mind, right? And then still be in a relationship with them while I'm canoodling with somebody else. It's like, bro, the moment I've decided, okay, I don't want to be with this person anymore, as hard as it's going to be, I'm just going to tell them. You know what I mean? I'm just going to tell you. And like, bruh, it's not worth it. Now I get it. Sometimes, you're in these living situations where you can't really, separate as amicably or as easy as you want to. I understand that. But there comes a point where you just got to be truthful, because I'd much rather be like honest and truthful. And it's like, okay, we're not together, but we have to live together for a little bit, and then like I could take you, and then be with the girl that I really love. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie, because that's how I be, and I don't have to worry about running around, and then I'm not sitting there lying to the girl that I'm seeing, because it's like. Because a lot of dudes will be like, oh, no, yeah, she's just my roommate. No, she's actually my fucking roommate. And she knows that she's my roommate. It's like, I'm not lying. I'm not none of that. Like, she ain't going to be coming out and we're talking about, oh, no, I'm his girlfriend. Like, no. No, you're not. Like, bruh. Hey, yeah. All right, on to the next one. What was the one sign you didn't catch while being cheated on? She packed the lingerie I bought for her. Damn. On the girls' weekend trip. Ooh. It was absolutely not the sort of thing you would wear under something else either. Damn. And that's why, for me personally, I am against my significant other going to the club. I am against my significant other going on girls' trips. And I am against my significant other traveling without me. Just against it, man. I'm just against it, and I will be like, hey, if you want to do those things, that's cool. You're going to do them single. I am not tolerating that. No, man. I am not tolerating that, especially if she's going with a bunch of, like, her single friends. Nah, man. Wouldn't be me, Jesus. Nope. Because, of course, you could walk into it thinking, like, no, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to cheat on my man, But then you get there, you got a few drinks, the vibe is vibing, dude comes up to you, he's looking good, whatever, smelling nice, got the smooth conversation, one thing leads to another. Nah, I don't even want to gamble with that. No thanks. And I look at it like, if a girl wants to gamble with our relationship, that's cool, man. Piece of chicken grease. Damn. When I was what was the one sign you didn't catch while being cheated on? I think I knew. It wasn't just one thing, long time spent on the phone, sometimes the whole day, sleeping in the other room to get better sleep, the little smile you see when they check a message, and the speed at which they're checking them when you open a door and suddenly the volume of a conversation drops, or it switches to just typing. God damn. My man he had the infinity stones of getting cheated on. God damn. My guy had the infinity stones of being cheated on. Like, what in the hell is going on here? Why was she staying? For what? Like, at this point, it's like, bro, you're in a relationship at this point. You guys are texting and calling and doing all this giddy shit. Like, bro, you're in a relationship. I will never understand it. I'll never understand it. It's like, bro, what the fuck? I saw all of it and I chose to ignore it, as I see myself as a jealous person sometimes, and maybe I'm just being paranoid. I thought we had something stronger than that, and at a minimum, I figured she would leave me before she no longer cared for me enough to do that in my face. I mean, bro, she was doing it in your face before it even all came up. You were just not trying to believe it. And like I said, again, I'm in there. Because you have that feeling of like, nah, my partner would never do this to me. It wouldn't be me. No way. But you have that belief, and trust me, bro, she was doing it in your face. Like, you were sitting at the other side of the table, and she's like, oh my God. Oh, what did you say? Oh, of course. Oh my God. Like, bro, that's crazy. That's crazy. And again, dudes do this too. All right, dudes do this too. It's just, women, they just don't fear consequences, so they'll do it in front of your face. Like a dude, he'll be like, oh yeah. But a girl, no, she'd be like, oh my God, what'd you say? Okay. Yeah, I mean, like a dude would he'd be hiding it a little more. I won't lie to you. Because the dude ain't going to do it like to her face. He's just not. And I mean, he's just not going to do it. And the girl on the other side of the table knows already what's going on. I mean, but he's going to be slying it anyway. But I'm just saying. All right, what was the one sign you didn't catch while being cheated on? I figured it out when my sister-in-law slapped me with a book named Codependent No More. Damn. Everyone else knew it, but I was emotionally blind. 28 years of marriage and 4 kids. God damn.
What did he say?
28 years and 4 kids is crazy. Bruh. Like, I'm sorry, but like, if I spend more than 10 years with a person, you're my person and you ain't going nowhere, bruh. You know what I mean? Like, I guess, man. I guess. Damn. Oh, she had multiple partners over our entire marriage. That's crazy, including my best friend. I'm telling you, bro. It baffles the shit out of me that somebody would sit there and call you your best friend and then fuck your girl. That's insane to me. And then she had multiple dudes. It wasn't just one dude. Like, one dude, okay, it's like, it is what it is. I lost my girl. But multiple dudes, it's not a thing where my girl just went off. Hey, she found somebody better than me. It is what it is. Nah, bro. She said, nah, I want to be the town hoe. That's crazy. Oh. Divorcing and pulling our lives apart was like trying to separate 2 phone books within interlocking pages. Had to move out of state to make it happen. But happen it did, and I'm better for it. Yeah, I know you had to leave the state. Because they was like, yo, I smashed your girl. Like, come on, man. Like, bro, we're in the age of the internet where that shit comes back to you instantly, man. And that's why, like, a lot of dudes don't want to date girls that are, putting themselves all over the internet and doing all this kind of, because it comes back to you, man. And that shit's embarrassing. That shit's embarrassing, especially if you spend 28 years with this girl, and you have 4 kids. They're like, you had kids with the town hoe, bro. Damn, sucks for you, dog. I'm seeing her next week. It's crazy, bro. All right. What was the one sign you didn't catch while being cheated on? When my ex-wife accidentally called me by her boyfriend's name. Damn. She was just like, how many times do I gotta tell you this, Blake? I mean Greg. And he was just like, Blake? Blake? Who's Blake? And she's like, no. I said George. No. I mean Greg. George? Who's George? I meant Greg. I did not mean Blake. I did not say Greg. I said George. It's like, all right, no, it's cool. It's cool. All right, Kathleen, we're done. How dare you? Hopefully you guys enjoyed my UK drama there. Being called by somebody else's name is crazy. That is insane. That is, thank God, never happened to me. But man, the amount of like mental power I would need to like hold myself from crashing out. You know what I mean? The amount of mental power I would need. Like, just imagine it. You know, if like your man, you know, your name is Jenny and he's just like, oh, you know, Ashley, and you're just like, Ashley who? Oh, he's like, no, I didn't say Ashley. No, I said Jenny. What do you mean? You know, I'm telling you, man, the immense amount of power I would need to not crash out. Oh, I would probably throw something. I probably would. I would probably throw something. And I would need to leave. I'd go to a coffee shop or some shit. You know, I would go somewhere where I'm like, woosah, you know? I'm telling you. What was the one sign you didn't catch while being cheated on? You notice them all. You just choose to ignore them while trying to deny what's happening. Facts. I've said it a million times, man. You're just like, not me, not my partner. I think majority of people will agree with me on that, where they're just like, not my partner, would never be my partner. It couldn't be. And then it happens to you and you're like, yep, my partner. Yep. Yeah, man, damn. Once you find proof and the relationship ends, you slowly start to realize what cheating looks like and feels like, and you start to get better at noticing the patterns. First sign for me and the last 2 times was them making themselves prettier to go to work. Ooh. Yeah, son. I ain't gonna lie to you. I know a girl that worked at that's like that. Woo! Yeah, it was one of those things where, you know, she had her man was doing, you know, her thing, and then I started to notice like she wearing a lot of makeup. She going to lunch with somebody that's not her man. Yeah, bro, that shit be real sometimes. Woo! All right, let's see. All right, I'm going to do 2 more, and then we will get to announcements and get into our book, all right? So what was the one sign you didn't catch while being cheated on? Having been cheated on, my wife is about as sneaky as a sledgehammer. But 2 big signs I've observed in others. Sudden changes of schedule on prime date times, like Saturday night and etc. Going the extra mile to prove you're doing something innocent. Okay. Well, I mean, you know, I'm glad that you haven't been cheated on. You know, I wish more women were, as you would say, sneaky as a sledgehammer. But the sudden change in schedule, like, these are very surface things, if I'm being honest with you. Like, look, bro, I'm gonna be straight with you. These things right here, extremely surface level. Why? Because all the shit that we've been talking about so far, those are the real ones. You know, those are the real ones. Like, these things right here are kind of, I guess, the starting of it. But it's not enough to be like, oh, yeah, you're cheating. No, because there's too much plausible deniability in it. You know what I mean? There's way too much plausible deniability in, like, your schedule changing, or what was the other one? Or, like, going the extra mile. Sure, somebody could be going the extra mile and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of times, it's not definitive again. And that's the reason why. Now, if it's a thing where, you know, they're making like very obvious signs, then it's like, okay, all right then. And I'm talking like homeboy, you know, found her packing the lingerie. I'm talking about, you know, the text messages like right in front of you and conversations getting quiet and, you know, oh, I'm going to sleep in another room. You know what I mean? Because I sleep better. And like, no. Like those are the main signs. Like this right here, surface level, my guy. And it's cool because, you know, you don't know. You know what I mean? You've never been cheated on. You got a good one. Hey, kudos to you though, brother. But hey, you know what I mean? I get you. All right, this is our last one. What was the one sign you didn't catch while being cheated on? A ton of time playing Words with Friends. And the smile she'd show while playing while I was getting our daughter ready for school. I wonder what words, because he said Words with Friends. in quotations. I wonder what that meant. Is that like an iPhone game? So, you know, she's just like, oh no, like we're just playing Words with Friends. In reality, he's just like, or she's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see you, da 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 da. I don't know. Maybe I'll never know. I don't know, maybe you guys know. Is Words with Friends code for something? I don't know. You guys let me know. Alright, but that's going to go ahead and be the end of that thread. Oh, man. Yeah. Woo! Oh, boy. That's something else, man. Cheating is definitely something that is not fun. It is not fun. You know, it is not fun at all. It sucks. It's horrible to deal with, but I think that's just kind of the way of, I guess, dating nowadays. It seems so normal to be cheated on. I feel like everybody and their mama's been cheated on, but I guess that's just the way social media has kind of made it, to where it's just super easy to get in contact with people, super easy to do this and that. I still don't understand the best friend thing. Like, why would you look at your best friend's partner and be like, oh yeah, yum, I want some of that? You know, now look, I understand if the girlfriend is looking at you like that, then that should be your point to be like, hey, yo, my mans, look, this girl ain't right for you. This girl's a hoe, bro. You know what I mean? Like, she over here coming on to me, this, and that. Like, that's how I would do it. But I guess some dudes are just weak to the coochie, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. But let me know down in the comments if you have a sign of cheating that you didn't catch in a relationship. You didn't realize until it was all over. All right? Let me know. Let me know down in the comments. But I'm going to hop through announcements. Then we're going to get into our chapters of Hooked. It's going to be exciting. We're going to be doing chapters 18, 19, and 20. So patreon.com/Am I the Asshole Podcast. Get an exclusive episode every single Friday, as well as being able to send in your scenarios to be featured on the Tuesday and Sunday shows. All right. So get on there. $3 a month. Get you that exclusive episode, man. We have almost 100 hours of content over there, man. So definitely get over there, get tapped in, and yeah. Join the community, man. A community of over 30 people over there, man. It's good time. Good time. Audio listeners, my peoples on the Apple Podcasts as well as the Spotify. I love you guys all. Appreciate all the support you guys have been showing, man. You guys keep downloading the episodes, coming out every week. Loving that so much, man. I really appreciate that. Keep downloading the episodes as well as rating us 5 stars to help get new people on in, increase the rating of the show, and all that good stuff, all right? And guess what? It is for free. And if it's for free, then it's for me. And if you want to help out even more on the free 99 side of things, go ahead and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe on YouTube. All of it is free, and it helps your boy out, all right? Appreciate you guys so much for all the support. But without further ado, I'm going to quit the yapping. We're going to get into the book, all right? So let's get on into this book. This will be chapters, again, 18, 19, and 20.
18. James. Meeting with Peter put everything back in focus. His death so close I can smell it in the air. Now I just have to convince Rue that striking a business deal with him won't work in our favour. I will be extremely irritated if my plans become more difficult because our business starts depending heavily on his. Even if Peter's days weren't severely numbered, I would be wary of using him. Years of dreaming up ways to kill the man responsible for every trauma of your life gives you ample time to learn about his weaknesses, about his past, and I've learned more about Peter than even his closest confidants. I know that he grew up in South Florida. His parents so poor they could barely afford the rice they put on the table. I know that he was a common drug pusher by the age of 14, running through the streets, going by the name of Pan, whispering ideas of grandeur in people's ears, promising a life of adventure if only they followed his lead. I know that while he rose to power slowly through the ranks, he left others behind, most of whom ended up disappearing without a trace. And I know that when he bought a failing airplane company, it was for pennies on the dollar, and somehow the original owner was never heard from again. I know Michaels is not his original last name, and I know the only thing he cares about in this world, besides his money and his stature, is his daughter, Wendy. But I can't tell Rue all of that without admitting there is a huge piece of my life he's never been privy to. And while Rue isn't a nosy type of man, I can't imagine he would take it well knowing that he's allowed me into his fold and I've kept the majority of myself a secret. But I'll deal with that tonight when I get back to the JR. Right now, my focus is on a new bakery that opened on Maze Street. Normally, it's the twins who make the rounds, collecting protection tax and the like, but after having issues with the new shop, I figured I'd pay them a personal visit. Sighing, I sit down in the seat across from George, the owner, my stomach twisting with unease from the way flour sticks to all the surfaces in the kitchen. I take out my gloves, the black leather encasing my hands in warmth, and I flex my fingers slowly as I speak. Now, George, I smile, crossing my foot on my opposite knee. Tell me one more time what happened. George wipes his brow with a white towel, his pot belly expanding with each of his heavy breaths. I told you, someone already came 3 days ago. I already paid. Impossible, I snap, irritation at this man's blatant lies tearing at my insides. Taking in a deep breath, I lean my neck to the side, allowing the crack of my bones to settle my anger. I do apologize, I chuckle, closing my eyes. I didn't mean to lose my temper, it's just, that's impossible. He puts his hands up. I'm telling you the truth. I certainly hope so. Uncrossing my legs, I pull out my knife, flipping it open and running my gloved thumb across the blade, reveling in the way the metal shines as it presses against the leather. Tell me, do you know who I am? The man shakes his head, no. Your neighbours didn't mention me? I press my free hand to my chest. I'm hurt. Listen, I told you what I know. The man starts to stand up, throwing the towel over his shoulder. There are customers Sit down, I hiss. The twins, who up until this point have been standing to the side, straighten and move closer. His eyes widen, but he plops back into the chair. Now, I'm a reasonable man, and I understand how upsetting it must be to learn that you were taken for a fool by some common beggar. I'm willing to overlook your mistake, since you didn't know better. His shoulders slump. So what? I'm just supposed to pay some bullshit twice? I tilt my head. I said I was reasonable, not weak. And as much as I'd like to let it slide, you know how it goes. I stand, rolling my eyes as I twirl my blade in the air. If you do it for one, then you end up doing it for all, and honestly, if you're good at something, you should never do it for free. I stop when I'm standing in front of him, my blade sliding underneath his chin, tilting his head until his eyes meet mine. And while our protection is courtesy, it is the best chance your business has at survival. His lips thin, beads of sweat trickling down his face. And if I refuse? My hand presses the knife deeper into his skin. We can find out if you'd like. I don't have it, he stutters. Leaning in, I allow the hooked edge to angle up, slicing into the meat under his chin, blood trickling down the blade and onto my glove. Then I suggest you get it. Fine, he wheezes. Please. I remove the knife, standing straight. Wonderful, Georgie. I pause. May I call you that? Georgie? His Adam's apple bobs. Let me explain to you how this is going to go. I reach into my breast pocket, withdrawing a handkerchief as I wipe the red from the hooked edge of my knife. First, you're going to tell me everything you know about the person who came in 3 days ago, and then you're going to pay my friends here. I tilt my head toward the twins. What you owe us. But I just said I lift my hand. I understand. I do. And like I said, I'm a reasonable man. If you can't pay today, we'll be back tomorrow. But I feel I must warn you. I don't like to be kept waiting, Georgie. I'd hate to see what becomes of our friendship if you test my patience, I tusk, shaking my head. I'll get it. Smashing, I grin. Now, tell me about this person. It was a woman. Said there was a new boss in town, and she was doing a courtesy by allowing me to show my loyalty up front. Rage clamps on my insides. Of course. A woman, I repeat. What else? That's it, he says. That's all I know. I was warned by my neighbors to not fight when y'all came asking for your dues, and I didn't want to start off on the wrong foot. I rub my chin with one hand, blade twirling through my fingers with the other. I'm telling you the truth, he pleads. Sighing, I place the knife back into my pocket. I believe you. Be good to my boys, understand? The twins smile in tandem, stepping forward to take my place. They'll rough him up a bit, do the dirty work I don't care to do, send a message. A ball lodges in the centre of my chest, twisting until all I can see is red. Whispers aren't good for business, and that's what this annoyance will cause. Whispers. A woman. There's only one woman I know in business with a powerful man, and they both just came to town. My gloves are spackled with drops of blood, so I remove them, placing them in my pockets as I push through the front door. Suddenly, I'm jolted backward, a small frame crashing into mine. Clenching my jaw, my arms reach out. A whiff of vanilla hits my senses. James? Wendy's voice flows through my ears, and just like that, my irritation drains away, a smile taking over my face. Darling, I purr. What a pleasant surprise. You're telling me, she grins. What are you doing here? I twist around to look at the shop. George's wife standing behind the front counter, flicking her eyes to the sidewalk every few seconds. Just paying my respects. I know the owners. Do you? Angie asks. I've heard their scones are to die for. I glance at Wendy's friend, my smile tightening. I'm sure they are. Do you want to come in with us and grab a snack? Wendy asks. Unfortunately, I can't stay, no matter how much the view has suddenly improved. My thumb runs along her jaw, a warmth expanding in my chest when the apples of her cheeks redden. Go out with me tomorrow. I work until 3. Perfect. I'll pick you up there. Leaning down, I press my lips to hers. I meant it as just a peck, but her tongue slips out and tangles with mine, and I force back a groan, the noise from the sidewalk fading away as I get lost in her taste. It will truly be a shame when I have to break her. I'll move on, of course, without a second thought, the joy of having finally accomplished my life's desire, washing away any of the empathy I have from knowing she isn't the one who did anything wrong. But sometimes you must make sacrifices for a greater purpose. We might stop by the bar tonight, her friend says once we break the kiss. Will you be there? I wasn't planning on going, Wendy tells me. You should, I reply. I'll be busy, but I quite like the idea that you'll be close. She grins, her eyes softening as she leans into my touch. Okay. Good girl. I press a kiss on her forehead and step back just as the twins exit the building. Tell Georgie to put anything you want on my tab. Wendy's eyes widen. You have a tab here? I brush a strand of hair behind her ear. Darling, drop my name anywhere in this town and you'll never pay for a thing again. Which name? Her friend pipes in. I glance at her, my jaw clenching. Pardon? She sucks on her bottom lip. I'm just asking. Which name? James or... The corner of my mouth twitches. I believe you know the answer to that. Wendy sucks in a breath. Hook? I incline my head. That's what they call me. Why? She asks. Just an unfortunate nickname, I'm afraid. I wink and turn to the twins, nodding at them to head to the Escalade idling at the curb. Do me a favour, darling. She lifts a brow. When you come to the JR tonight, wear something blue. I lean in, my breath ghosting along her ear. It's such a lovely colour, And I want to spend all night imagining the way it will look shredded on my bedroom floor. She sucks in a breath, and I press my lips to her cheek before stepping away and into the car, my cock stiff and my heart pounding.
19. Wendy. I'm sitting in the formal living room of my home, waiting for Angie to pick me up. Wearing something blue. John's across from me, working on yet another model plane. "Dad called this morning," he says, his voice cutting through the silence. My heart jumps to my throat. I highly doubt it was a personal call just to say hello, and disappointment settles in my gut like a brick, knowing without John saying the words that he told him. Over the phone. John's fist tightens around his paintbrush, pausing from where he's filling in a black line down the side of his plane. "Look, he told me, okay? So you can stop looking at me like that." I inhale a slow breath. "Told you what?" "That I'm going to that stupid boarding school. It's fine." Sighing, I lean back into the chair, resting my arms on the cushioned sides. "It is?" His eyes flick to me over the rim of his glasses. "Would it matter if it wasn't?" "Of course it would." He tosses his paintbrush down, running a hand through his jet black hair, so similar to our mother's. "There's nothing you can do to change it, Wendy. It is what it is, and you sitting there looking like you're about to burst into tears isn't helping the situation." My chest pulls tight. "I'm not." His eyes narrow. "You are." "I just want you to be happy. That's all." I raise my hands. He doesn't respond, his attention going back to his craft. The silence is suffocating as it wraps its way around my throat and stuffs into my ears, allowing room for my thoughts to grow wild and uninterrupted. This is the only thing I've asked my father for, and yet somehow he still couldn't follow through, choosing to take the easy road, to cast John's feelings aside as if something as huge as this doesn't really matter. Another charred and heavy log is thrown on the fire of my anger, simmering at the base of my gut. "He said I'm going tomorrow." The words are soft and short, but they pummel me in the chest anyway. "Tomorrow?" I gasp. "Is he coming home to take you there?" John's lips curve into a small smile, but it isn't happiness I feel vibrating through the air. "Wendy, be real. The driver will take me." Flames lick up my insides, heating my veins. "I'll take you." He shakes his head. "You don't have to do that." "I want to." I force a smile. "I've got to see it for myself if I plan on visiting every week." John groans. "You are not allowed to visit every week." My grin grows. "Well, you better let me take you tomorrow then, otherwise I'll come all the time, and I'll make sure to be extra embarrassing." John chuckles, his eyes sparking the tiniest bit. "Wendy, you're never embarrassing. Just overbearing." My hand flies to my heart. Should I be offended by that? "No, it's..." He shakes his head. "It's nice." The knot in my stomach unravels at our banter, the familiarity bursting through me like a long-lost friend. But it's quickly swiped away by the knowledge that after tomorrow, it will really just be me, all alone. We've been at the JR for 2 hours, and I've yet to see James. Maria, who isn't with us tonight, said he owned the bar. But the longer I sit here without his overbearing presence to muddle my thoughts, the more I realize I don't actually know anything about him. Well, that's not true. I know some things, like he has a ridiculous nickname, and he apparently has so much clout in this town that said nickname is as good as gold. But for someone who says I'm his, I feel like he's nothing more than a stranger. How could I be stupid enough not to ask? Thanks for saying you'll cover my shift tomorrow, I tell Angie, sipping from my sparkling water. She waves me off, smiling. No worries. I could use the extra hours anyway. Her eyes move past me. Besides, you're dating a dude who wears three-piece suits by choice, so I think it's safe to say I need the money more than you. Oh, and you live in a mansion? She cackles. You hussy. God, it isn't fair. The chuckle I force out feels like razor blades, slicing through the sudden tightness of my throat. She tosses back the remainder of her drink and sighs. Ugh, where's your man, girl? Since I've got to work in the morning for your ass, I need to head home. Beauty sleep and all that. My insides clench and I glance around, looking for a sign of James, anywhere. The bar is thinning out. We've been here for hours, yet there's still no sign of him. My fingers twist in my lap. He's probably busy. You go ahead. I can just catch a cab. I cringe as the words leave my lips, hoping they don't sound as pathetic as they feel. You sure? Her eyes scan the room. Yeah, he said he would be here. I nod. She bites her lip. Well, yeah, but he hasn't even shown his face. I don't want to leave you here without a ride. Reaching out, I pat her arm. I appreciate the concern, but you really don't need to worry. She sighs, standing up. Okay, but text me if he doesn't show up. I can come back. I stay at the bar long after she leaves, watching the bubbles pop and fizz in my drink. I could probably get something besides sparkling water. I haven't been carded since that first night, and my birthday is in 3 days. But the truth is that I'm not a big drinker. I don't like the way it makes me feel. And then there was one. A voice filters through my daze, and I look up, meeting the amber eyes of Curly. You want a drink, sunshine? Aren't you guys closing soon? I'll probably just go. He's not here, is he? I ask, breaking eye contact. You're gonna have to be more specific. He leans his elbow on the bar. There's a lot of hymns around this place. Hook. Unease swims through me as I realize I'm not sure how to address him when I'm talking to other people. Yet another thing that shows I know absolutely nothing about this man. But I do know it won't stop me from leaving with him tonight if he shows up. It may be stupid, it's definitely reckless, but it's also exhilarating having someone like him shower his attention on me. Makes me feel less like the picture of innocence and more like a woman. Something about the way he stares makes me feel alive. A laugh to my left cuts off whatever Curly was about to say. My head turns and my eyes take in the curvy, raven-haired beauty that's polishing wine glasses and hanging them on the bar rack. Curly scowls in her direction. Cut it out, Moira. I'm sorry. She smirks, her eyes locking on mine. You're really waiting around here for Hook. Another dose of doubt creeps into my conscience, pouring through my body like sludge. There's a smile on her face, yet her tone is anything but friendly, and my hackles rise. A retort is on the tip of my tongue, but I swallow it back and nod, my knuckles turning white from how tightly my fingers tangle around each other. She huffs out another laugh. Moira, Curly hisses. What? She asks, her eyes widening as she looks at him. You can't seriously be entertaining this. Her hand shoots out toward me. Another groupie showing up who knows nothing about the man, thinking the little innocent act will work. It's honestly pathetic. You shouldn't encourage it. My jaw clenches, her words battering against my wall of confidence already shaken from my own twisted thoughts. Yeah, well, he knows this one at least, Curly replies. Moira's hand pauses on the rim of the wine glass, her eyes flickering back toward me. I chance a look at Curly, warmth filling my chest from the way he defended me, from the way his simple words made me feel a little less stupid, a little less like just another dumb girl with a crush. She hums. Well, you'll be waiting a long time tonight, sunshine, because Hook isn't even here. Curly tilts his head. He was earlier. Well, that was earlier. A grin sneaks across her face, her white teeth gleaming. He had me give him a proper goodbye before he left for the night. I can tell she's trying to get a reaction, so I don't give her one, but it doesn't stop her words from slamming into my middle, planting roots and spreading their seeds. Moira. A shadow appears behind her, James stepping into the light of the bar. His eyes glint, his black hair tousled like his hands have tugged at the roots. Or maybe Moira's. You should know better than to lie to my special guests. Her frame stiffens, the polishing rag and wine glass frozen in the air. Huck, she speaks slowly. You're back. A bolt of satisfaction splits through the cloud of doubt. She called him Hook, not James. His head tilts as he stops next to her. Never left. He grabs the wine glass from her hand, holding it up to the light as if he's checking for smudges. The air grows thick, a few voices from the remaining patrons splicing through the tension, and soft music floating through the speakers. But none of us move. None of us speak. He tisks, setting the glass down on the bar top. Your job is lackluster, I'm afraid. Huck, she starts. He spins toward her, the move so sudden it makes my breath stall in my lungs. I've never seen this side of him before, and while it should put me on edge, I realize the heat brewing deep in my belly is arousal. Did I give you the assumption that I would enjoy you speaking of me when I'm not around? He asks. Her eyes widen, lips parting. No, No, he snaps. His eyes flicker toward me, the harshness of his gaze softening. He cracks his neck, running a hand down the front of his suit and gesturing toward the glasses. These look terrible. Start again, and if there are any spots at the end, don't bother coming back tomorrow. What? She scoffs. But it doesn't matter because she's already lost his attention. His eyes zoned in on me as he strides over, a smile breaking across his face. My mind whirls with the scene I just witnessed, lost between what I should feel and how I actually do. His hand touches the open back of my dress, chills skating down my skin at the warmth of his palm. Breath coasts across my face, James's lips pressing softly against my cheek. Darling, you look edible. I regret wasting my night in meetings instead of showing you how thoroughly I enjoy you in that color. Blood rushes to my face, heating me from the inside out. Call me petty, call me vengeful, but I can't stop the way my eyes glance to Moira, satisfaction burrowing in my chest at the way she's watching him touch me and whisper in my ear. Hi. I grin up at him. Are you ready to go? His thumb presses into my bottom lip. With you? As if I'd allow you to leave with anyone else. His hand encases mine, pulling me from my seat and into his arms. And regardless of all the things left unsaid between us, all the ways I still need to get to know him, I let him lead me out the door.
20. James. People do what I tell them. It isn't a novel concept. In fact, it's when they don't that is the rarity. However, it's normally out of either fear or respect that has them bowing to my whims. So, seeing Wendy walk into my bar wearing the exact baby blue dress from the first night I saw her. It does things to me, sends pleasure skating through my insides, knowing that she did it for no other reason than to please me, like a good pet. It was more difficult than I expected to sit in my office watching her on the security feed, testing to see if she'd wait for as long as I needed. But once I saw her interact with Moira, I knew I needed to end my experiment. Can't have a silly waitress messing up my plans by scaring the girl away. Although I do think she might be rather difficult to get rid of. While the media has always painted her as Peter's pride and joy, she's succumbing to me so easily, almost like she's desperate for the attention. If I could still feel things the way a normal person does, her attachment would cause sympathy to swell in my chest. I assume, after all, it's trauma of some type that has her clinging so quickly. But my heart no longer pumps the way it should, and while my blood still runs red, any soul I once had has been eaten by the acid that runs through my veins. Even as a boy, there was something about me that attracted the darkness in even the lightest of souls, drawing it to the surface until it cascaded from their bodies and drenched my skin, burning like black tar on a sunny day. Maybe that's why I find Wendy so refreshing, why it's so easy to get lost inside of her, because she's the only person that hasn't been swallowed whole by my sickness. Not yet, anyway. "Where's Smee?" she asks, sprawling out on the couch in my living room. I settle in close, offering her a glass of water and crossing my foot over my opposite leg. "I'm not sure." I glance around. His time is his time. I try to stay out of his personal life and expect him to do the same. I'm sure he'll turn up at some point. She nods, taking a sip of water before setting it down. "That's nice. You seem like a good boss." I grin, my hand reaching out and running up the bare skin of her thigh. "I think you'll find I'm phenomenal at giving direction." She giggles, and so humble, too. Smirking, my fingers tease the hem of her dress. She trembles under my palm, and my cock hardens at how responsive she is to my touch. She swallows, shaking her head. "I have some questions." Annoyance flickers in my chest, but I pull back, raising a brow. "All right." Her fingers twist together as she stares down at her lap, something I've realized she does whenever she's nervous. "What do you do for a living?" The question surprises me. I foolishly assumed that if she hadn't asked by now, she wouldn't. I lean back, my arms spanning the length of the couch. "I'm a businessman." She rolls her eyes. "Yeah, so is my father. But I mean, what do you do?" The mention of her father sparks a blaze inside of me, and I'm suddenly desperate to know everything about him from her point of view. "Your father?" "Ugh." She palms her face. "I wasn't actually planning on talking about him, but yeah, he's a businessman." "Oh." I run my tongue over my teeth. "Maybe I've worked with him." She shrugs. "Maybe. He's pretty well known." "Who is he?" I put great effort into keeping my voice low and steady, my nerves dancing like pop rocks under my skin. "Peter Michaels." Pushing a hand through my hair, I sigh. "Never heard of him." Her eyes widen, but I don't miss the way her shoulders drop, as if she's been relieved of a weight. "Really? That's kind of surprising." My fingers rub at my jawline. "Is it? I'm sorry I'm not as versed as I should be then." Her grin grows, her upper body leaning toward me. "I like that you don't know. I was so worried about telling you, to be honest. I didn't want your opinion of me to change." I snap forward, my arms wrapping around her waist, pulling her the rest of the way into me. She whooshes out a breath as her body lands on mine, her ample breasts pressing deliciously into my chest. "Darling, no one on this earth could change my opinion of you. I'm afraid it's already set in stone." She lifts her head, her lips centimeters from mine. "What is it then?" "My opinion." My mouth dips down to skim across her neck, my hand reaching behind her head to tangle in the strands of her silky hair. I can show you if you'd like. Her breathing stutters as I tighten my grip and tug, the expanse of her neck elongating. I press kisses up the column of her throat, making my way back to her lips. The taste of her invades my senses, need spiraling through my center and heating my blood. She moans, her hips pressing against my shaft through the thin material of my pants, creating a friction that has pinpricks of pleasure skittering up my spine. I release her mouth and lay back, allowing her to start up a rhythm. She's teasing me, torturing me, but God, does she look a vision. Her blue dress is bunched at her hips, lips rosy red to match her cheeks, and eyes half-lidded as they look down on me. My fingers release the strands of her hair, my arm wrapping around her as I sit up. Our bodies suddenly flush against each other. Our noses brush as I thrust into her panty-covered center. I suck in her breath and take it as my own, pressing my lips to hers. She moans, her arms curling around my neck, a sharp sting radiating through my mouth as the taste of copper floods my taste buds. I jerk back, my thumb brushing across my bottom lip, coming away with red. She bit me. Normally the sight of my own blood makes me retch, but for some reason, arousal floods my system. My arm tightens around her waist as I slide forward, my lips moulding to hers, the taste of my blood mixing with her saliva. She sucks on my tongue as if she wants to swallow me whole. And I groan, pushing her down on the couch, my hips settling between her thighs. I break away from her lips, moving my mouth to her ear. My palm wraps around her throat and squeezes. Are you going to let me see that pretty pussy? Her teeth sink into her bottom lip, hips pressing up to meet mine. My fingers drift from her neck down her torso to meet her core, my hand wrapping around the center of her cotton panties and pulling until they snap off her frame. Her inhale is audible, and it makes my cock throb, desperate to feel her from the inside. Tossing the torn fabric behind me, I push her thighs apart, my nose running up her glistening slit. A groan rumbles in my throat. She smells delectable, like musk and woman and everything pure, as if her pheromones were bred just for me. My mouth waters with the need to taste her, while she comes apart underneath me. I move toward her opening, lapping at the wetness that's seeping from her center, coating my tongue with her taste. She giggles, her fingers wrapping around the strands of my hair. That tickles, James. I grin against her, my arm pressing down across her stomach firmly. Stop moving, pet. My fingers slip into her at the same time I suck her swollen clit into my mouth, feeling it pulse on my tongue. Her body jerks under my arm, and I pin her down tighter, my hips pressing into the couch cushion to relieve the ache throbbing in my cock. She's tight, and pre-cum leaps from my tip as I imagine how it will feel when her walls are hugging the thickness of my shaft instead of sucking on my fingers. I have a sneaking suspicion she's a virgin, and the thought of being the first man to have her, the one who will ruin her for all others, makes me ravenous to destroy her body, mind, and soul. I continue to pump my digits, wetness coating my hand from her dripping pussy. My arm lifts from her torso, moving up until it wraps around her neck, my fingers tapping against the pulse of her heart. Releasing her clit from my mouth, I look up, noting her flushed cheeks and the way her breasts heave underneath the beautiful blue of her dress. Take a deep breath for me, pet, and don't let it out until you see stars. She does, immediately, her throat tightening as she inhales and holds. My hand wraps around the sides of her neck, and I dive back into her pussy, slowly increasing the pressure around her windpipe at the same rate of my suction on her clit. Her hands grapple in my hair, thighs trembling as they close around my head. My fingers curl inside of her, rubbing the spongy spot of her inner walls, My gaze locks on her from my place between her legs. Her eyes are rolling in the back of her head, her lips parted as I ensure she can't take in air even if she wished. My cock throbs as I think of her lips turning blue, her body on the verge of giving in, of giving up, right before I allow her to come, letting the sweet air expand in her lungs and bring her back to life. Her back bows off the couch as she explodes, her fingers nearly ripping my hair from the root, the sting of pain making my balls tighten and heat coil at the base of my spine. I release her throat, reveling in her deep gasps of air, and continue to lap at her while she soars from the high. Finally, I release her clit, my fingers making an audible noise as they withdraw from her sopping cunt. My gaze locks on hers as my tongue swipes across my lips, cleaning her taste from my mouth. My chest pulls, insides reeling as I stare down at her, realizing that I've never held such beauty in my hands. And in this moment, I'm not sure how I'll let her go.
All right. Woo! Man! This book gets a little hot. Man! Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode and the 3 chapters we've gone over today in our book Hooked. Woo! Man, wish we can go a little longer, but we are going to have to end today's episode right here. I will see you guys next week, and we will hopefully get into another 3 chapters. My goodness. Hope you guys enjoyed today's show. If you're on Patreon, I'll see you tomorrow. If not, I will see you on Sunday for another episode of My Asshole Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Peace.